Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Geomatics Engineering, and in today's lecture we are going to discuss about sources of vector. As you all know that we have recently started a course PG Diploma in Geoinformatics, in which we are following the syllabus from IGNOU, and we had already completed few units, and in today's lecture we are covering this unit 6 of block 2 sources of vector. So what will be the expected learning outcomes from this lecture? So we will describe the primary and secondary vector data and also discuss about the various sources of vector data from where we can get the vector data and list out the agencies that have a huge data collection in vector format, and we will also talk about IoT and census data and also the data quality. So vector data is of two types, primary data and secondary data. So primary data is like that is collected on the first place, like GPS derived data, ground survey data. So it is collected on the first place using any instrument and taking measurements on the field. And secondary data is like the data that is converted from raster data or any field data. It can also be a digitized vector object from map. So what are some sources of primary data? So the primary source for vector data is GPS derived data and ground survey data. Like using a GPS instrument, we go on the field, collect some latitude, longitude data, point data, or any kind of route mapping or any area survey, area measurement that can be done through a GP. Then secondary data sources. So we already know that these secondary data sources are prepared using the primary data sources. So the secondary vector data can also be created from any primary raster data, and these data sets are derived from primary and also secondary vector data set. Some example of secondary data sources are like land use land cover map, some groundwater potential zone maps. Like here is an image where there is a satellite image, and then an LULC map is derived from this satellite image. Further, we can convert this LULC map into a vector data format, then separate the different LULC classes and calculate their area. So these are few examples of secondary data source. Then we have a table of sources of vector data, like what are the major sources from where we can get a vector data. So firstly, here is a table where there are some sources. So first is digital chart of the world, known as DCW. So it is a vector cartographic data set based on 1:10 lakh scale operational navigation chart ONC series with global coverage. So this data set is developed by Esri, and you can get this data sets on Esri website. Then there is a data source from Omni Resources. So in Omni Resources there is a stock of international topographic maps at various scales, including 1:250,000, 1:50,000, 1:25,000 for selected countries and major cities worldwide. The topographic maps are available. So it is developed by Omni Resources, Burlington, NC, and you can get these data set at Library of Congress online catalog. Then we have the next data source from ArcGIS Hub. So it is a community engagement platform that organizes people, data and tools through information driven initiative. So it is also developed by Esri, and you can get data from this on ArcGIS Hub website. Then we have a major source of vector data from Survey of India. So Survey of India is a producer of topographical, geographical and public series map that covers India and is also available at various scales, like 1:25,000, 1:50,000, 1:250,000, and it is developed by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. So you can get these maps on the website online maps portal. Then we have National Atlas and Thematic Mapping Organization. So NATMO is a publisher of thematic maps and atlases at small scale, providing digital versions and also PDF map of all publications. So NATMO is managed by Union Ministry of Sciences and Technology, Government of India, and you can get the data sets on their website NATMO. Then we also have a data set from Geological Survey of India. So it is custodian of geoscientific data and producer of memories, record, journals and bulletins, thematic maps and geological mapping of India. So they have basically all type of geological maps available on Bhukosh. So on Bhukosh website you get all these maps related to geological asset. Then we have GADM. So GADM is basically database of global administrative area. So it is provider of maps and spatial data for all countries and their subdivision. It is freely available for academic and non-commercial uses. You can get these data sets on GADM website. Then we also have a natural earth from where we can get maps, and it is a public domain map dataset that is available at various scales featuring vector and raster data that is suitable for cartography and GIS software. So Natural Earth dataset has a contribution of many volunteers, but it is managed by NACIS, that is North American Cartographic Information Society, and you can get data sets from this on the website Natural Earth. Then we have a DivaGIS platform. It is also a provider of free spatial data for the world, and it is usable for mapping and geographic data analysis stored as Esri save files and Diva grid file. You can get these save files on the website DivaGIS. So these are the few sources where you can get vector datasets for mapping and also some topographical maps at various scales. Here is a picture of online maps portal by Survey of India where you can get different kind of topographical maps and digital vector database. Then here is a product glimpse from NatMo, like what map products are available at NatMo. So NatMo Geo Portal, National School Atlas, District Planning Map Series, Golden Map Service, Indian Ocean Atlas, State Atlas. So different kind of atlas maps are available at NatMo. Then here is a picture of Bhukosh website of Geological Survey of India where there is different kind of geological maps are available. Then we have GADM where the data is available at world, India and different subdivision levels. Like for example, here is a image of elevation above mean sea level for India from GADM. So you can explore these websites to know that what kind of data sets are available. Then we have Natural Earth websites picture, and here is a list of vector data that are listed as cultural and physical available at different scales. Now we will talk about Internet of Things. So why we are talking about the Internet of Things, as on daily basis it integrates the data that is available offline to World Wide Web, and all these vector data sets that we are getting through online portals, that all are connected to this Internet of Things. So what is the concept of IoT? So IoT refers to the network of connected devices that communicate with each other and in the cloud. Cloud is basically an online storage. So everyday objects that are equipped with sensors and processors to connect them to the internet. So what are the components of IoT? So some smart devices, IoT application and graphical user interface are components of IoT. So with the help of smart devices, objects with computing capabilities that collect and exchange data. IoT applications are like softwares that integrates data from smart devices and makes informed decisions. GUI is an interface that used to manage and control IoT devices. Then what are the technologies that used in IoT? So edge computing. Edge computing is basically it enhances smart devices capability to process data locally. And then cloud technology, so it facilitates remote data storage and device management. Then machine learning, so machine learning enables real-time decision making based on the data analysis. And what will be the impact of IoT? So connected cars, homes, cities and buildings are examples of IoT systems in use today. So with the use of IoT, there are enhanced decision making, tracking and monitoring, automation and efficiency in personal and business tasks. So with the help of IoT, we have lots of benefits, like we can make better decision, we can do the real time tracking and monitoring, automation of daily tasks and more efficient personal and business operations that can save time and money. Again, we back on our vector data sources. So we have different national mapping agencies that also provides vector data sets. So in India, there are several data centers in different states from where anyone can procure data on special request, project based request, or through their organization or university or institute. So in the upcoming slides, there is a table where we will see these different national mapping agencies. So in Andhra Pradesh, there is a geospatial data center. In Assam and Nagaland, geospatial data center. In Bihar, there is a geospatial data center. Chhattisgarh is having a geospatial data center in Raipur. Gujarat is having a geospatial data center in Gandhinagar. Punjab, Haryana and Chandigarh geospatial data center in Chandigarh. Himachal Pradesh Geospatial Data Center. There is also in the right side the address, phone number, email ID is available for these geospatial data centers. So you can request these data centers also to procure any kind of data set for that state. We have geospatial data center from Jammu and Kashmir, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala and Lakshadweep, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Meghalaya and Arunachal Pradesh, also from Odisha, Rajasthan, and the head in Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Andaman and Nicobar Island. Tripura, Manipur and Mizoram Geospatial Data Center. East UP Geospatial Data Center, Uttarakhand and West UP Geospatial Data Center, West Bengal and Sikkim Geospatial Data Center. So these were few geospatial data centers. They also have several data sets, so you can request them to provide the data set. Then we have a census data set. So census tables are published in the form of large collection of Excel files. So these tables are listed here by census year from 1919 word, that is organized in a series, and also following a large extent census table to maintain the same design over time to foster comparability of census output. So this is a website from where you can get census data managed by Office of Registrar General and Census Commissioner India, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. That is also known as Census Digital Library, and these data sets are computed and visualized in different softwares like QGIS, Saga, Elvis, ArcGIS, and there are so many softwares, GIS softwares, where we can visualize these data sets. Here is a website for these census tables. You can visit these websites and get data set related to census and use these data sets and different GIS softwares to map the table into state-wise maps like here in this picture is shown. Then we have some other sources of vector data like OpenStreetMap, NASA Socioeconomic Data and Application Center, Integrated Population and Environmental Data FAO. Here are the websites for these. You can visit these websites to inquire more that what kind of data sets are available on these websites. Then we have data quality. So when we collect vector data from different sources online, so these are in the format of shapefile or GDB. So there can be a data quality issues in those data sets. So what will be the multiple components in the data quality issue? So it can be precision, accuracy and relevance, and also there can be discrepancy, inconsistency in data type. So these issues can happen from the source of error in measurement. Like it can be human errors, mistakes and faulty judgments. Also some environmental characteristics affects while measurement like variation in temperature and gravity. So error in measurement can also happen due to instrument errors like limitation in the instrument precision and resolution. So these kind of errors happen while taking the measurement. So to minimize these errors, we have to follow the precision and accuracy concept on each and every measurement. So precision is like it is related to resolution and variation, and accuracy is like it refers to closeness of measurement to true value. I already have described about these two terms in my earlier lectures in detail. So there can be two types of measurement errors: systematic errors and random errors. So systematic errors are like it follows a trend and can be adjusted by a constant factor. Like if there is a systematic error, so it is constant in each of and every measurement, so it can easily be removed just by adjusting a constant factor. But when there is a random error, it do not follow a trend, so that makes them harder to identify and correct. What are the error correction strategies? Proportional corrections are there for systematic errors, and we can average out the data points for random errors. So these were like what can be the sources of error in measurement, what types of error can happen, and how can we correct out these errors. And then what are the common sources of error in GIS? So scale variation can be there. So inherent error in cartography can cause and scale variation in data. Data age. Outdated information leads to inaccuracies. Formatting error like changes in scale, reprojection can also cause an error. Quantitative and qualitative error like label mistake, calibration issue, then topological error. So resulting from digitizing process or damaged sources map, there can be topological error. So these are some data quality issues we have to keep in mind while doing measurements and working on any kind of vector data set. So this was all about the vector data sets. Now we'll talk about the summary that what we have learned from this lecture. So there are basically two types of vector data, primary and secondary. We learned about the different sources of vector data, different websites from where we can get the vector data sets. We learned about the IoT, Internet of Things, and its importance. We learned about the census data and how can we use those data sets, and we also learned about the data quality issue. So this was all about this lecture, and I hope you all liked this video. If you guys are having any queries, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you very much.